do work. They have rockets. They could put down some more bullets as far down as they possibly can. This is looking great for this duo.
Yeah, and Super Evan and Godnik also another pair to keep an eye on. Godnik, Super Evan still nice. Running around the low ground, but a great rocket sliding through there. Will they be able to find these birdies in the sky as they start to kind of toggle dive? Woo! But you're going to run out. Slazer getting picked off there, sent all the way down. Will their duo be able to pick her up? Nope, unfortunately, Aluette going to confirm that as we get closer to that top 12 situation. What great shots, Golden Boy.
Yeah, really just picking up these gliders in the sky. Once again, now they're going to be at 100-100, and you know, you love to see it when you got yourself that cheeky glider redeploy and you get knocked down. It's something that's going to help you out if you're trying to play for that ultimate high ground. And just as I say that, two more players try and challenge up above here to take this away from Big Fizz and Pusher. And Bag Fizz is just going to hold this one off as long as he can here. Use that silenced AR. But they're going to lose it, and it's going to be CJ and Wood. We saw them yesterday. This is such a great pair. When they work together, they shred through the server.
Yeah, but now Bag Fizz and Pusher are trying to get in on this low ground action, knowing there's a lot of players roaming around. CJ and Wood trying to work their way down and get a piece of the action right here. This is absolute madness. A couple ballers, 1, 2, 3, 4 ballers still left in such a tight circle, but Wood and CJ just have run to the lobby from the high ground.
Yeah, as soon as they were able to get that control, I mean, the complexion of this game changed completely, and there's more eliminations that have gone through here, and we're going to be far in to the placement side of things, well, far into the top 7, as well as we're now left to just 5 duels remaining. 8 players are going to be scattered about in this lobby. Bag Fizz trying to just circle around here and give himself some coverage. Meanwhile, Pusher, he's engaging in a fight up above, and he's doing such a good job of keeping himself alive and his teammate. They have to tear through these builds here, Sundown, because they keep getting boxed out.
They do, but they're picking up eliminations at such critical time with the Siphon to keep topping back up.
They got full control of that. Oh my word, that was so well done. He saw that he didn't have the wall, but the player was going to have to run through no matter what. So he ended up getting full control of the walls around him, and then as soon as that player went out, there was no area, no space for them to go through.
And CJ and Wood are actually engaging with Zello 1 pumps on the high ground. They will pick it up. Now it's a straight 2v2. We've seen Bag Fizz and Pusher running most of the lobby, but CJ and Wood have maintained high ground. When they opted to drop down and pick up elims, they kept control. Who will be able to execute on this situation? This is so tense. It's high ground versus ultimate low. Who can win it, Golden Boy?
And I do like that little bit of advantage that they have of being inside of the cornfield, right? I mean, you know, it's a little bit of the details here and there, but they can decide to push out, get a little bit of, get clever, because you know that Wood and CJ are going to have a difficult time seeing where they are. Also, I like that they're just pyramiding and placing those floors above them, giving themselves as much coverage as possible. This is going to come down to the wire here, folks. And honestly, if you look at the life lead, it's got to go to Wood and CJ because they have more health. And I actually...
Combined they do, but Pusher has the most maximum, so they need to send somebody to challenge. Bag Fizz is going out to challenge now, but he goes a little early. He gets knocked, so they can thirst that for the maximum health advantage, which CJ does now, but Pusher's still maintaining the storm.
And they just got to charge him. They just got to charge him. Wood's going to go down. CJ's going to be on the other side. He's going to jump over to the other end there. Pusher, though, is going to put the shot down. And goodbye, CJ. Wood and CJ have been such a great duo, but man, Pusher and Bag Fizz, they played that one so well in that mid game. And let's take a look at the replay once again, because Pusher knew that there weren't many options that he had, but he nailed that shot there with the legendary pump.
That pump being the huge difference there, and the option to drop down from the high ground doesn't always pay off, but sometimes it lets you run the lobby like that, going from 9 to 13 elims so fast and then getting the victory route. But we don't stop there. Right back into the next match. The difference of 18 HP doesn't matter. Going through now, 40 players remaining, 23 duos. Vexa sitting on 6 elim. Ghost, Ryan, one of the young control lords on 5. The Uzi, a very aggressive player we've seen a lot of. Keox, and then the Real Heavens TV as well, 3 elims. So a lot of aggro play coming out in this lobby. A little less dense pack than some of the other ones we've seen, and a little more elim top heavy.
Also, the bush play.
Oh yeah, all about the bush. Hey, you got a bush emote? Toss it in the chat right now. I want to see those bushes
with the Lux. Or, you know, I like that quite a bit. But in any case, so that was going to be a cleanup there. The first elimination for Quills, Simpei. This is the duo to look out for as we start this one. And he's also going to be dragging this pump as far as he possibly can, so his teammate can go and nab that one. So now they both have an epic and a legendary pump. High damage value that you're going to get out of both of those weapons.
Yeah, I really wanted to try and kind of call attention to dragging that, because that's not a skill a lot of players really call attention to, but being able to carry those weapons, carry those mats over, and just kind of run them through in clutch situations like that can sometimes make the difference. Sometimes the difference of a green to a legendary or to an epic pump is all you need in the endgame situation.
Yeah, because if it's the epic or legendary pump versus, say, you know, like a blue tack or a green pump or a blue pump even, that just changes that whole game there. And now we're going to be on board with Fajita Latifa.
And his partner, Cardigan Sweaters. Just a great duo pairing right there. As Fajita is able to
and Cardigans. Those are two things that I don't know if they mix, but this is the Luxe Cup, baby. So we just got to accept it.
Yeah, and a great shot from him there. You see the player instantly go to rotate, putting that high ground to work. And we talk about angle advantages. What we mean by that is when you're on the side or in the zone already, and players have to rotate towards you, and you have the high ground, able to take advantage of the players, utilizing those launch pads, and even sometimes the rift to go, but particularly the slower glider redeploy. If somebody just builds off and jumps out, I mean, that's free picking sometimes.
Those players in the gliders have really been targets, and for a lot of the players, just as we're seeing right now, there's no reason for them not to go after them.
Like, look at that. That's free. Free real estate right there, man. Fajita Latifa picking up third elim and dropping another player trying to get one of those quote-unquote safe rotations, but that's not so safe when you have a player up there with that level of rifling skills, and we've seen him do this over and over again. But now let's take a look at what's going on this mid-ground tarp rotation, the backside of the circle. We always talk about this being a hot spot.
And over to Quills and Simpe once again. I wonder if that shotgun situation could pay off for these two players in the end, because Quills does have that epic shotgun. Simpe has that legendary pump. And they're going to wait inside of their box. There's no reason for them to try and get aggressive. And we also have some big names here as well. We got Landjock and Punisher are going to be hanging out in the box right next to them. Neighbors, if you will, Sundown.
Yeah, Caliber as well, another very good player, somebody you're probably not as familiar with, but places in pretty much every single open event that's been there. But the Complexity boys are about to try and push over, and Quills and Senpai are getting ready to try and push them through. They know they're right next to them. They want to try and be on the wall. The edit comes through. Can they execute on a great shot coming out from there, picking up the near instant elim on that player? But I don't think that was the Complexity boys. They had dropped down. They were in a pairing, so it would have been a knock. But good elim coming out from Quills and Simpe there.
Wiped out with those shotties. And then there goes actually the that was going to be GK Orcus. Okay, so Orcus is going to be right above them. Quills and Simpe, to be careful now. Uzi popping up there on the action feed, and Caliber, goodbye. He's going to get removed, and another player right next to him. And Quills has to play this one smart now and needs to get back into that safe area.
Oh, and his teammate walled them off right there. It's forcing him to take 2 more ticks, but now they have control of the mid-tarp. No other players around them. And look at that little alleyway over there with Fajita Latifa, Cardigans, and then Swinger as well. They're all ramping out and directly above each other. You have the Complexity guys on the low ground. Quills and Simpe going for ultimate high here, but Stretch and Bumboy, also known as Ethan, directly challenging them.
So they're going to go for that ultimate high ground there, and Bumboy knows this. So the question that Bumboy has to ask himself is, do I want to concern myself with this for right now or worry about it a little bit later on? We're going to go over now to Fernie and Trev, and that was a nice shot there on Keoks. The elimination, goodbye. Number 3 for Fernie there.
And Trevhold actually has somebody else down, so he's waiting for that one to get converted over if it does for the Siphon coming through, which will put him in a good spot. But this launch pad is a little bit questionable. Yeah, Trevhold is challenging now for ultimate high, dropping down just behind Just Nasty. Does has the glider redeploy, as so much is going on, not only on the mid-ground tarp, but also in the low-ground tarp as we get into the top 12. Everyone on 3 placement points.
Oh, I wouldn't expect anything different here. We got Ryan and Uzi. This is a duo that you certainly need to pay attention to, and they have picked up quite a few eliminations, Sundown. 11, 6 for Ryan, 5 for Uzi, but Ryan is going to get challenged, and he ends up falling to Bumboy, who pops up from right behind him, and he had no idea, just caught completely off guard there. And now Bumboy and Stretch need to get to a safe haven. They have to be careful now as they wait around the side. And you never know what you're going to find in these structures. Right? Players can be creeping around corners, but they do get to some safety for the time being.
Yeah, and they know that player's there. They have this heavy snipe. They want to try and drop this player down. I think they saw him in the middle above. They see the builds coming out now. They're going to utilize the heavy snipe, trying to see if the player doesn't double wall off as the replay catches up. We're looking now to see top 3 as the next placement point. You see Uzi now on the mid-ground. Tarp is one of those solo riders. There's 2 of them going out. Trevel on the low ground as the other one. No, Fernie is with him. I'm sorry, it's the Complexity player. Punisher, who is the other solo rider. Everyone looking for top 3 as Quills and Simpei control the ultimate high. Yeah, they still maintain this position, and this is working out nicely for them. 37 builds, though. 8 players are going to remain. 5 duos left in this lobby. They've gone past that top 7. They're going to continue to rack up some more points. Now, Stretch and Fernie are out of this, as well as Uzi. And that's just going to be Punisher, Bumboy, and then the duo of Simpei and Quills. And Punisher, is he going to try and push for this fight here? Bumboy's taking a lot of damage. He needs to get back into the safe zone. I don't think he's going to be able to do so. Stumbled on the steps. He's going to be so weak, and Punisher could punish him for that. And he does just that. But now it's going to be Punisher who's going to take that damage, and he flies away. And that is a wrap there. Okay, so I guess what he was trying to do was use the jump pad to then circle back around, maybe get the ultimate high ground, but that was an ambitious play to say the least. And it's going to be Quills and Simpei who pick up the victory royale. Yeah, great job from there maintaining the high ground. What Punisher was looking to do, he looked to jump out and throw down the launch pad to jump around the side, but I think he sort of bonked his head there on the stairs, not losing all of his vertical mobility, but losing most of it. He also didn't have the HP to do that as well. Yeah, just a bit rough there, but we're going to jump right on into the next match, and this is a very dense circle right around one of those huge hillocks over by Paradise, so this can get super awkward very fast. 50 players in the match, 27 duos, so pretty much everybody has a buddy. Looking at the current game elim leaders, Quadra on 4, Lexi on 3, Fiorath on 2, Prism on 2, and Razor on 2. As Circle 4 is closing now, and we're on board with Void and Bo BR. I was wondering if you were going to get that. Bo. It's a good name. It's a good name. I like Bo. You know, I'm not a big fan of the name Bo, only because, like, the EAU end up messing me up a lot. I'm not great with the enunciation type of thing, and then sometimes people catch me with rude jokes at times. But as we see here now, they are built up right on the side, and all of these players are going to have to rotate up. The Storm is going up this hill, which means all of these players are going to look to keep them out, and Straker and Tater are in a tough spot. Void trying to find something with the heavy sniper. Yeah, he's looking for the shot. See a lot of duos, what they've been doing is they'll time their snipes, destroy one, and then send that shot right on through, lining it up, because some players think that they're protected. But then, out of nowhere, you end up walking away with a haircut. Because you just get beamed to the top of your head. Then we got 7 MZ and Slops over here. Just managed to pick up 1 elimination through the Storm. And okay. So I think they were just trying to hold back those players with the stinkers. He's going to have the terrain to be able to wrap around here and look for this player. But I'm fairly certain his teammate removed him from the equation. He's going to get some shots from above as well, so he needs to protect himself. Yeah, and I don't necessarily know why they're going super aggressive here. Like, they should just be hanging out since they're on the backside of this mountain. They're good. They're in the zone. They just need to wait. Look at the bottom right-hand corner. How many players need to go either up and over or around this mountain right now as that Storm is closing in? Oh, they charged through the Razor. Razor tried to get out of there through the trap door, but he couldn't escape in time. And now they're going to snag themselves a rift to go. Some great mobility toward the late game here. 41 players remaining in this lobby. But what we've been seeing here, these players, I think they're safe in their gliders. Those guys in the ultimate high ground, they ultimately destroy them if they're not careful. Yeah, particularly as the circles start to get more restrictive, having less area in them, it makes it so much difficult to land when you rift a code, when you jump pad down, because there is a maximum dive height. It means you are forced to pull the parachute, and against players like this, doesn't matter if you have that faster speed, not from the glider redeployed, they can make you pay for it. Make sure you use the code there for Hunter and Trickery. Clearly they want everyone to know. And now, oh, maybe you should. I just thought it was their team. They're not on team code. Oh, that's fair. Maybe they are. But a great pickup for the elim right there, utilizing that heavy sniper. We talked about its utility at long range to be able to punish people rotating. We talked about its utility as a wall buster, and they're demonstrating both right there. You see people trying to use that community launch pad, but building up over and denying some rotations as Hunter Vu does get knocked down. K is directly behind him, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ballers taking that early rotation, but doesn't look like there's too many more than that. And a lot of wide open terrain to boot, so these ballers are just going to swing around like crazy. Other players looking to just get control of some of these walls. So
This way they don't get caught off guard, get caught and then be surprised, which has happened so many times. And Tater and Striker just tunneling their way out of this one, giving themselves the coverage from behind as well. They're anticipating this. There's also just a lot of natural cover around here, but there's also a lot of resources. And there's going to be players cracking on through this wall here. And Tater's going to wait for it. He's going to hit 10-bit is sad. And his teammate, goodbye. That is sad. I feel bad for you, bud. But Tater and Striker, they saw that one developing right in front of them. But they're going to get blocked. And look at all of this. Sundown, these players are trying to scramble, get away from this storm. Their backs are against that blue wall, and they need to run away from this one.
And you see the players trying to utilize the baller to get to the other side. This is a very dense circle. We're not even into the top 12 yet, but a great shot coming out from Le Bush, able to pick that one up. The conversion will come through to top him off. As he gets an even better shot onto Cyrex Season, will he be able to find another, getting the conversion on Lumao? 3 elims so fast, and the other player's right next to him. 147, will he be able to finish it off? No, Scrimlins actually gets away with it, dropping him right there. Leafer now trying to deny Boltzlater's pick up M-Shoots from getting in, but he's just going to utilize the baller and get through. We have about 3 ballers who have just been allowed to rotate freely through into this top 9 now, not really getting challenged as everyone else was forced on such a hard rotation.
Yeah, those 4 ballers are going to be out on the floor here. Actually, 5.
Yeah, no, there's 6, but 2 of them are real hurting.
Might as well go for it and destroy them, just like you saw right there.
1, 2 going down, 3 going down. Yep, that's going to be the end of that, but balling, rolling their way into a nearly top 7 placement. Gonna be happy with that. However, they should have plenty of mats to work with. The question is, were they able to get enough elim points to make it worth it? And can they convert on their opportunity now to turn it into more, as ZM7 is getting pressured right here. But a better shot on the Broken, the player from Regal, going down there almost into top 7.
And then look at this here, Sundown. You have this hill. You kind of have to 90 your way up this, right? Just go straight up. And ZM7, excuse me, is going to be outside of the storm. He's going to find his way back inside.
Nobody slides back down.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's so sad.
Man.
That's so unfortunate. That little lip right there. You hate to see that happen. Everyone has had that happen. And one of the most frustrating things, particularly when you slide down and then you're stuck in that free fall state against the wall, as Void is able to get away from that and go back up for the high ground. He's going to try and drop onto Quadra and Goofy, who are going to end up being the last 2 in this 2v1 situation, but he has high ground now.
This is going to be such a tall task here. Now look at this, right? If there's no flooring down below, it is all just a valley. So if you fall, that is it. GG. And Void is going to land right in front of them. And Quadra and Goofy, they're going to get the victory royale. Well done. 7 eliminations for them there. And that first place, they knew that they had Void basically done.
Yeah, but a great work from Void to rotate around and retake the high ground, but Quadra and Goofy executing perfectly together in that 2v1 situation and just showing their ability here to track the player, find him as he's coming down, and the team fire right away. They both just 2-tapping him, one with the pump, the other one with the AR, and just look at that run. These Paradise, it's so nuts trying to work through the natural structures, working back over the top of those hill crests, and just the amount of control to make sure that happens. Very well done from them there, but also just like a little bit of a Bible thump in the chat for MZ7, man. Everyone knows that feeling when you get pinned against the wall, when you have the 2 there and you're falling down. That's
a fail fish right there.
Oh, you're gonna give him a little bit of, okay, give him a fail fish for that.
Give him a little bit of that spam fish love there.
That being said, very well done from Goofy and Quadra to execute on that 17 points for the 7 elims and the victory royale. They're going to be happy there.
Yeah, and again, it really, I think Void and his teammate, they did everything they could to survive to that point. But when we saw them, right, I think they were a squad that was at the low ground, so they managed to climb their way back up, try and reclaim that ultimate high ground. I just think that what's so crazy about going through Paradise, and you saw it there a lot, where, as you mentioned, the natural structures.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of fights that took place within those houses, and when those fights are happening and then you have that storm pushing in and then the only thing next to you is a wall or like a metal piece you don't own, it's like, you gotta make a decision, I gotta make a decision.
Yeah,
and then it's just like trying to swipe through and just trying to push out, because it's going to take you a hot minute to be able to cut through that brick so you can get through and continue on to safety. That was just rough, man. That was absolutely insane. Oh, great match. continue on to safety. That was just rough, man. That was absolutely insane, though. Great matchups on the NAE side. Let's take a gander at the standings. And who is at the top? And it's going to be Aspect and Animal, Pika and Rux, names we've seen quite a bit. Aurora and Npen, then Bizzle, Demo, Champer, Paper, Chaotic, and Nosh. Then you got Dubs, Mega, Wrigley, Waffles, Glocky, Stoic, and then Potent and Thorny are in your top 10.
Yeah, great top 10 running out there. That's actually Icy, the player for Stoic. I want to give a shout out to Wrigley as well. Hamster Wrigley coming out with Waffles. Wrigley said we showed yesterday, came across with an amazing drop-down trap play right after we were giving him a little bit of props, showing up again today. But also, Aspect and Animal, qualified in first yesterday, have been pretty much one of the dominant duos in the game since they paired up, showing it here as well with a decent lead. Now, there's only about 50 minutes left for NA East 2Q. So it's going to get down to it, Golden Boy.
Dude, you know, there was a thread that popped up where people were like, Mongrel, Mitro, best duo in the game. But then, and don't get me wrong, I think Mongrel and Mitro, and let's jump into the action. I'll finish this point here because hopefully we get to see Aspect and Animal when we watch these next few games. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's like, who really is that best pair? Like, Aspect and Animal, they're really good. They've performed consistently. Even Pika and Rux, another consistent pair. It's hard. It's hard to say who really are like. Oh, that great shot from a distance there. That never happens for me with the heavy AR, but sure.
Ooh.
Just some of these duos, man, have just been. Oh, they've been so impressive.
Yeah, but looking now at our current game Elam leaders, you have I Am Poppy at 4, Super Evan, Parallel Bars, PB and Jammies, and then Tezza all on 2. As you see, iCarry might as well put him up there on 4 as he picks up a quick 3 Elims right there. Great rifling skills, and then going to utilize the Rift to try and reevaluate a quick dive down rotation and make the most of this.
And went for that legendary AR immediately, just upgraded from the heavy AR, which, mind you, is putting a lot of work with that item, iCarry, and hits. We'll keep a tab on them based on how they've been performing thus far. Got a couple more players here, Daxor and as well as Grazka, some other talented players here, Artsy and Midas. They're defending this one out, just giving themselves some vision. Take this one over.
Will he be able to find it? The other player is hiding basically on the other side of the ball and not even paying attention. Grazka, that's so unfortunate. Will Daxor be able to avenge him? No, Artsy now going to get the Elim, get all the mats from this, and also has a baller of his own down there. 44 players remaining, 25 duos. If you are just joining us, this is the grand finals for the NA East region of the Luxe Cup. The other 4 regions have wrapped up. NA West will be after that. That means Asia, Oceania, Europe. I believe Brazil is just now starting to finish as well. We'll get you those leaderboards once they are confirmed. NA East has about 50 minutes left to queue, and this is the top 3,000 players, top 1,500 duos sorted from yesterday. And this is how they score their points. Top 12 is +3. Getting to the top 7 is an additional 2 points. Getting to the top 3 is 2 points. And the Victory Royale duo gets 3 points, 10 total placement points. But each elimination being a point is a huge kicker, Golden Boy.
Yeah, players are just, they're chasing those eliminations now because of their value. That's one whole point that you're able to get. So when you see the players in the sky gliding, thinking that they're going to be able to descend to safety, they're getting beaten by players all around them. Now we're here with Gun Blast and Samp.
Lol Sampa.
Lol Sampa. Excuse me, Lol Sampa.
No, you're good. No worries. Got to get a little bit of scroll there. He's making the use of all of his characters there as they try and push in. He does own that wall now. I don't know if the other player does notice, decides to build the ramp, but not going to cover himself in time as Bruzzy picks that up.
The compact SMG is so good. And then Gun Blast, wisely so, is just going to get right back up to safety, drop down, owns all of these walls here, and can freely push out when he needs to.
Yeah, and one thing I want to note, look at where the circle is. Another very far south circle, and we're going to go directly over the top of Lucky. So similar now, we're going back over old builds, but also we're going to end up going through a lot of natural structures. What we mean by that is structures that are already on the map that aren't efficient and fast to farm, so it's really hard to get through them. A lot of them have 450 up to 500 HP. That's a lot of pickaxe swings.
And a lot of time wasted. which is what we saw earlier. Godnik, oh, that's rough. Gets hit with the stickers. It smells.
Yeah, and Super Evan, his teammate can't do anything about it. If he goes near those stinks or the storm touches him, he's going to go down as well. Can't afford to give anything up there, and Voyle is going to convert on that as the community launchpad does get used. Everyone heading towards that top corner of Lucky Landing. He's hoping to bounce off the next one. You saw the player right there. That's so scary.
He was waiting. He's like, I dare you. I dare you. Jump on this launchpad. I'll make you pay for that one. Voyle, though, and Bruzzy. Bruzzy's out of this. Just Voyle. So he's all alone, and he's at 10 placements to get to that placement point there with 12 duos left in the lobby here, Sundown.
Yeah, but we've seen him do very well in 1v2 situations before. Voyle is a very good player, not necessarily the most consistent, but has a very big ceiling, and now we're starting to see a little bit of the marbles coming out there. A lot more ballers than we've seen previously. However, not sure how many more circles those will be allowed to stay out there, as the players are going to get hopefully an easier rotation this time with not a lot of variable terrain. Oh, as I say that, they go back over the one mountain in the area. Fiber Nefrux on Trebian jumping right there.
That couldn't be a worst possible circle for them to have, as that storm is just going to continue to move forward to a really rough spot. You see that giant mountain right there, but Voyle did get the elimination on 2 HP Evil. Got a couple more names that are falling here. Fiber gets an elimination on Trevi, but Voyle continue to hold this one off. Player's gonna be right in front of him. That's Cremy. Goodbye. He's got to thirst him quickly so he can get that HP. It was also going to be a half pot there, but there was no time for him to be able to grab that one unless he was able to snag that in time, and we're just not catching it. But I don't think he managed to grab that in time, and that is a rough one to have to deal with. So he needs to look for these eliminations so that this way he can get some more shield, some more HP. He's going to jump right in. That's not Mayo. Oh, but he falls down. But he did manage to survive that fall and has some shields to work with here. But this has just been a trial and tribulation for Voyle, who somehow manages to stay alive.
Yeah, and he gets himself into the top. So it's 3 placement points. Now we do see a decent amount of ballers here. Most of them are a little fractured, but they are getting themselves at least 3 points. So they will have a lot of mats to work with. As the player drops down directly in front of him.
He has no idea. That's nice. That works out wonderfully, right? Because you saw him trying to use that. Oh,
he caught it with his face.
Oh, he caught the rocket with his face.
And he got a second one. He got Derek with that as well. So that puts him up to 8 elims. Tristan Hip and Jammies, 2 of the premier players. We've seen them in a lot of our events, but we still have 1, 2, 3 ballers, Artsy, Tolo, and Hardy, utilizing that to almost roll their way into a top 7. If Hardy gets sneezed on though, however, he will be exiting. So basically on 157 effective HP, if the baller gets touched, he's out. If anybody pickaxes him into the storm, he's out. One more duo needs to go down as Matt gets picked up, and that's it. Everyone gets 5 placement points at minimum. Hardy going down as well. Jumping going down as well.
There's just been so much carnage that has taken place here. Tristan Hip along with Jammies, they're still going to be in this one. But on the ultimate high ground, you have Teza and Gandhi Daba, who are going to be all the way up there, and they continue to put some more fire down onto the targets below. Gunblast has no more shields to work with, gets into a scramble there. He's going to see if he can come out on top now. He got Artsy in front of him. Little Sampa, his teammate, is going to get chunked for a lot. He's going to have barely any HP remaining, and still Tristan and Jammies, they're looking pretty solid thus far. They're holding this mid ground, not really allowing anyone to try and challenge them in this area, so they'll know when players are below, but they also know that they have to deal with those players on the ultimate high ground.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good spot here right now. Is a 2v1 as Gunbuster just get picked up, and instantly right away they drop down. They're able to capitalize. Now it's just a straight 2v2. They're on ultimate low. Other players on ultimate high. About 2, no, just 2 times up. They ended it down. They're 1 level above. Tristan going out to try and challenge.
He's going for the shot there. This is a very ambitious play. He only has 20 HP, and he's able to nail the shot there on the Gandhi, and he's got to survive inside of the storm. 50 HP. That player's going to be hanging out right above them. He's going to fall down, but Teza wins the game at the last possible moment and secures it for him and Gandhi. Oh man, look at this.
I want to see it from Teza's perspective, because he opted to just stay with the storm while the other 2 challenged, knowing he has the HP advantage, and then when he drops down, getting the thirst onto Tristan just confirmed his HP going up, and then the ticks were going down. So while Tristan and partner were able to be super aggressive there, it kind of bit them a little bit. You know, him and Jamie's going a little too hard and not securing it, but we're going to roll right on over. We already see By Revy and Not Panda, two players who've been really making a name for themselves. And as we say that, Not Panda sitting on 9 elims right now. That is nuts. Followed by Apex Legend on 4. I'm Ang 4. The Guardy Party 2, River Dot on 2 as we're in Circle 4, closing in to Circle 5. A little bit of a less dense circle here, 26 players, 15 duos remaining, so they should have a little bit of room to work with, but probably in part to this duo's 11 elims early.
Yeah, 9 eliminations for one player in a stacked lobby like this. And when I say lobby, I guess I mean like the entirety of this matchmaking, because let's not forget that, you know, there were thousands of players that went through the semifinals. This is the top 3,000 players, top 1,500 duos, and to be able to get 9 elims, very impressive. They're certainly going to be someone that we got to pay attention to. Maybe not even here, but also just moving forward, right? If this player is able to pull these kinds of numbers in servers like this.
Well, particularly because that's a big advantage if you're able to put up those high elimination games. I know there's a lot of players who are big about playing the end game, but you need to be able to capitalize on those elimination points consistently like that. Kalos goes away with the heavy snipe combo, just trying to hang out in a cone, but you lose a little bit of that deception when the cone is inside a house.
Oh, man. He used the heavy snipe to just wipe away that cone.
It's like he just like pulled up the covers. He's like, surprise!
Yeah, the player was just like, oh, you see me? Okay, this is awkward. I'm not fully dressed, but hey, you know, this is weird.
Well, I mean, I just don't know what he's expecting, putting a cone down inside one of those natural structures like we talked about, but a good early rotation to get them. Man, this is the 3rd super far south circle we've had in a row. We're almost off the edge of the map in Happy Hamlet here. This is so far.
Oh. And if it, I mean, it's going to zip back up, but it's still like...
So I have seen some of the circles. It is possible to have the rotation actually go over the side if there are some of the inlets there. Doesn't look like that's the case here, as Panda is looking for an angle with that heavy sniper.
Does he get... Oh, I was going to say, does he get it? Listen, feels so bad. He was just chasing the shots there and was completely unaware of that player. No Panda was looking right at him.
I don't know why you peek in that situation. It doesn't tend to make sense. You're not going to be able to convert on an elim. That's one of those situations we talk about. Yeah, shoot the ballers, but don't do it if a heavy sniper is looking at you. Retrofitted now, going to be the focus of like 3 different teams' fires. This is super unfortunate. He's like, what did I do? Well, you were all by yourself in that early rotation. The other player sitting there with a cone trying to build out, but now he's going to draw attention to himself, and that's a lot of dynamite, Golden Boy.
Yeah, this is scary. Okay, all right, maybe we're doing a little too much here. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's gonna knock him out, but I don't know if it did any damage. It was just enough to eliminate the structures that were just formed by those players. Retrofitted feels bad. It's gonna be knocked out by Winter. That will be the first elimination for Winter. Maybe he got a few more. You know, there's a little bit of the issues there with the spectator keeping track of the eliminations, but this is all for the road to the World Cup. Continue to iterate and improve as this continues on. But here we go. We got a lot of activity going on over here at Happy Hamlet.
Yeah, and look at that. The rotation going about due west. And like you were talking about, the road to the World Cup starts in just 2 weeks, under 2 weeks now, with that April 13th and 14th, the first open online qualifier, $1 million out there, and then it's 10 weeks going through leading up to that World Cup final. But now everyone trying to earn as many points as they can. As you see, the ballers lead the way on the rotation, but the Guardy Party often take some shots saying, hey, no free top 12 for you there.
Not at all. Wants to remove those ballers. Some players, they see the ballers and they're just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with you, and I don't like what you're doing here. So I'm just gonna remove you from the equation. That was all white shots onto the Guardy Party. Glorious, looking great. Snags the elimination there and has a lot of shields. It's looking like he's preparing for that eventual end game. Keeps going like that for Glorious.
Yeah, he should be in a good spot, utilizing the suppressed SMG and that epic pump, trying to find whatever he can. As that baller rotates through, he's just going to let that one go. No threat to him here, but sees the other player pinned, but tries to edit out, hits a great 52 shot, and knows he's pinned into the storm, so that player's going to have to come back through eventually, but trying to find the other player here, really be able to get in that box, Golden Boy.
No, he just was not able to find it, but that other player who was in the box defending himself is just going to run right on up to the high ground, and Glorious deciding not to chase after that individual. We also have a few players that are going to be down low in that ultimate low ground here. Glorious snags another elimination. Mongrel Snake is going to be the victim of that one on Zello. And the Ballers now. And look at this here. Poor Mongrel. Zello had their target, knew exactly what he needed to do there. Gets another one with that legendary pump on Link. That's some more eliminations here. And the Storm continues to push forward, but Zello is playing very well. Doesn't have any health items, so I think he's more focused on getting the elims to keep his shields and health up.
Yeah, he wants to be rotating through that mid-ground tarp as we get closer and closer to the top 7. I think it just ticked over. Now we have Not Panda and Revi on ultimate high. Comac on the middle as, yep, top 7. Everyone got at least 5 placement points. Zello dropping down onto the mid-tarp, taking some chip. Will he be able to find the shot?
Just deleted Comac. Just wiped him with that shotty. That was so nice to see there. And then he also has some targets up above him. Zello, Clyde, they continue to work through this one. Aprix legit as well as Slazzer. And up above, you saw Winter, who's just knocked out. Not Panda and Revi, the duo that we saw at the beginning of the game. They have 17 eliminations between the two of them, looking to make that into 18. Revi's going to get sent down there, but that's another elimination for them to put on the board. This has been a great game for them, and they have the ultimate high ground. And look at where this,
look at the rotation. This is what I was talking about. When it goes too far over the side and then it goes back east, you're effectively rotating off the map as Slazer gets taken out just outside top 3. But these guys are about to get dropped into the drink, Golden Boy.
Oh, they're going to take a bath if they are not careful. Clyde getting ticked out in the storm, and Zello's going to go down. That means Revi and Not Panda, they're going to be running this server, and that is going to do it. Victory royale for Revi and Not Panda, and that will be how many eliminations?
21 elims total. And it's super funny to me there because Not Panda on the last shot, if he doesn't catch himself, he actually just falls off the side of the map after he confirms the elim. So you can watch it here from his perspective as it comes through. They've really pinned everyone against the side there. You see the players trying to come over. Finally, the last player around the side, as he ends up dropping down and taking the shot, like he just would have fell. He would have fell all the way down the space and that would have been it. But that's what I was talking about when you get those super far on the edge of circle maps, because you have the moving circle and there's variable like inches to the coastline. Sometimes you end up mostly off the map, but we're gonna get right on into the next match. And no, we're not off the edge of the side this time, over by the old stadium just outside of Tilted. Current game elim leaders Andrew XY, Apex Setia, Insomnia FA all on 3. Then you have Domo and Legedian on 2. Legedian, someone we've seen a lot of, he just says just don't call me legend and we're fine, as Z-Laner ends up taking a bunch of damage there, going down to meet the ball, confirming the elim there. And we also see Barcode, better known as Treason, in that bottom left-hand corner. Fulmer as well. Nikisi's in there, so this is a very stacked lobby, Golden Boy.
And I wonder if Sofa is still going to be up here along with Fulmer, because that's another consistently performing duo that we've seen time in and time out. Now, as far as the kit is concerned, for this squad, they're going to have Rift to Goes. They'll use that one when they need it. Then we have another fight taking place over here as everything kind of just all pops up so quickly. And that will be the Barrow, who won a 1v2, evidently.
Yeah, just right now taking out 2 very solid players and converting on that and doing it with the your favorite weapon, Golden Boy.
That's right, baby.
Blue attack now swapping in for the pump. So interesting to make that happen, but sometimes that's what you need in those situations, a high rate of fire weapon. And when you are basically touching your opponent, if you're hitting headshots or your pallets, catching all of it,
you know, it's good. It hurts. It's just a weapon. It's okay.
I was definitely a bigger fan of the heavies comparatively, but now I've fully converted to be a puppy boy. But as you see there on the side, you have E11 Heart and WD in the middle. Sofa is still up indeed, but picking up Punisher there as well. So getting closer and closer towards that top 12. 23 duos remaining, 42 players.
A lot of the players are that we've seen, some of the names, more and more consistent performances are going to bring them closer and closer together with their points. So like seeing the Complexity guys along with the T1 guys, E11 as well. Just saw them there. Got a lot of talented folks in this server.
Yeah, Huffs and Jinx now on board with them as this rotation is going to start going over towards that variable terrain. Not too many mountains, so pretty forgiving, so not too much of a burn on mats, but expect a solid amount of elims to come through.
Playing slow. They're waiting because they're going to use that rift to go. And here we go.
And they're going to immediately opt to pop the parachutes, just hang out, because like we talked about, they think a lot of players are going to be eliminated. Keep an eye on that bottom right-hand corner as you see the triangles go through, but just look, the number of players opting to be like, I'm going to be safe up in the sky on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players up there right now, potentially more, 7 falling down in the frame, 8 in the frame now, as everyone just wants to rotate to the far side, but not that many players are going down, Golden Boy.
And I was going to say that I was concerned for the players that were coming in later from their glider deploys, because players like Huffs and Jinx, who went early as soon as that thing popped, they were able to get that ultimate high ground. And then from there, they got full control. So they were able to tag a few players that were still sailing through the sky. And then they also forced this guy down here. It's going to actually end up boxing him out from that place there. And now Huffs and Jinx gonna push on forward. Oh no! And Rift goes right at the opportune moment and then keep themselves in this game. But they are gonna be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, getting closer and closer to that top 12. You see Sofa topping off with that big pot. Does have the blue pump, so there is one tap potential coming through. Looking to find whatever he can on the mid ground as you hear a couple of those ballers going out. Needs to get back in the zone. Zay ends up getting confirmed by Rowdy Rich. Sofa walks right past that other player, knows he's there, just trying to keep going. Down to 37 builds right now, Golden Boy.
Yeah, and Fulmer's going to be very weak, but I think Sofa's more concerned about trying to lay out this path for his teammate and see if Fulmer can pick up 1 or 2 eliminations that can get him back in that health safety area. Meanwhile, Sofa, he's reset. He's just going to use the bandies. He doesn't have anything to build with. You're right, Sundown. 4 builds, 3 builds now. You got to find something. You got to start to pick off some of these players. That's Elims. Maybe going to give him an Elim. He's got to thirst that guy. He's got to thirst him. He's got to take his builds, and then he does so. So now he has over 40, and he's got to get right back into that safe area.
Yeah, and they also have Motor and Just Illegal, 2 EU boys playing in this match as well, but Meatball and Nick have opted to pop a rift, and it's going to get them into the top 12 with the safety. But we've talked about when these circles get that much tighter towards the end, it's very difficult to land. You see 4 players up in the sky. Treason picking up Just Illegal right there, so gonna convert on that Elim. 18 players remaining, 12 duos, 6 solo riders out there. The rest have pairs as Fulmer ends up converting on Motor, and Treason goes down as well.
They're still in this one. Fulmer and Sofa continue to impress. Meatball and Nick as well. They've managed to just get out of tricky spots so many times, and they're gonna find themselves in the top 12. That means placement points for them. They can get a few eliminations, and that will be very nice. There's 15 players, so 13 players left for them to be able to try and get some picks from. Sofa is actually going to be out of this fight, ends up getting knocked down, and a few of them off onto the elimination feed on the side there, and Meatball is going to find Legendian. Goodbye. That's number 2 for Meatball.
Getting closer to that top 7 as well, getting ticked out from this thing. Don't need to panic there. Not sliding all the way down. That is one of those replay things we talked about, but catching back up. You can see ultimate high, Risen dropping in, getting the pick onto Jinx, ruining that for Huffs and Jinx, who had done so well to control the high ground. Fulmer on ultimate low is actually now just opting to run out towards the storm to try and run back in.
No! Fulmer tried. He tried, but he wasn't able to do so. Meatball, though, is going to be down low, and he's able to pick off yet another player. And this is the Nick and Meatball show, because they are down low, and it seems like they just have that presence. And that was just a player that ended up going into the rift to go. So Nick and Meatball, they're just going to see this guy flying in the sky. They're just going to pick him.
Yeah, this should be just absolutely free for them. No way they don't convert.
In their face.
And this is a prime example of what we talked about, how yes, the Rift-to-Gos and the launch pads are extremely helpful in those circumstances, but as the circles end up getting tighter, you get forced to pop your parachute. There is a maximum dive height, which means you can't just dive all the way down to the ground, and it's exploitable. It happened right there, and you see you can't necessarily use it so late. It was just on a silver platter would have been an understatement right there. But let's roll on over right into the next match. We have about 28 minutes left for them to queue on NA East. Remember, they get a 3-hour block or 10 matches total, so you can scuff a couple there, not have the best matches, and still be able to capitalize. But looking at the current in-game leaders, you have Limix Aussie, Cypher PK hanging up there as well. Big boy, let's see some Cypher emotes in the chat if you're watching for him. Bolt Potent, TFC Neff, and Tough up there. So 6, 4, 3, 3, and 2 elims from our current leaders, as we have 18 duos left moving into Circle 5, 32 players in the server, so 4 solo riders out there right now.
We should all be so thankful that we get to commentate over Cypher's gameplay. Unless Cypher is not in the game anymore, to which I'm sure he will DM us and say, come on, man, really? Oh, okay.
But look, Golden Boy, double heavy sniper.
Yep.
They're going to try and line it up.
And they're going for it. Look at that. Just a coordinated fire there from their ARs. Cleaning house. Josh didn't stand a chance.
And now they're going to look to try and line it up again. They know another player is there, and he's currently occupied by the other side. Does drop down.
Ooh.
Will they be able to find it?
Okay.
The player's not even looking.
He's not looking. He's more focused with this fight. He's more focused with the pressure that he's having to deal with in front of him. And this poor person, it's like, what do they do? You know, it's like, was that other guy earlier, right? Like, it just was, you know, retro, right? What did he do?
Yeah, and
did
that's
he look at someone wrong?
Well, that we talked about, it's the early side of the rotation. And then we talked about this before. Don't go be a loot goblin in the firing range. You've already seen the entire server shoot towards that location. So why? No, they're going to do it again. But
well,
luckily now,
there now.
Yeah, luckily it looks like the double heavy snipe pressure isn't there. But already immediately you see Tracer Fire coming around towards them. They're going to try and get whatever of that loot they can and then rotate away. But want to make sure they don't put themselves in too awkward a position as we're rotating away from Polar Peak, probably much to the relief of a lot of these players.
Loot goblins are the best, man.
That's one word for it.
They really are. Oh, we got RBK High Sky.
RBK High Sky, and then TSN Commandant is also, that's known as Commandment. He just recently changed his name to that as well. So just so players are aware. But High Sky was our Blackheart Cup NA East solo victor. So rocking it through here. Remember, 16 duos remaining. They are looking for top 12 for those first round of placement points. That'll be +3.
Oh, look at these ballers here.
Hey guys, hey! Hey man, isn't it great to just roll around here in these ballers? Yeah, it's amazing. This is great. Oh no, we're taking shots!
Then they gotta go.
And again, we talked about how this isn't something we necessarily have seen in a lot of the other regions. We saw Europe was very much so anti-baller, but NA has had a big affinity for them. We talked about some of the changes in the patch notes. There will be additional ones coming through, so make sure you keep an eye on that or go check the patch notes, read those for some additional context. The change on patch 8.20.1 was they do not damage players anymore, and then they got some of those fixes for the trap and boogie bomb effect.
Lots of cool things on the pipeline here. Commandant. So is it Commandment or Commandant? It's Commandant right now.
It's Commandant right now. I'm pretty sure that is TSM Commandment, and I don't know if he's trying to change his name going through. So we're going to go with Commandant since that's what you have on screen. And if you want something else different, please let us know or use that actual name.
Yeah, you could yell at me, people. It's perfectly fine. There's a lot of talented players. We all got to keep up with them. I'm okay with that.
Yes, this is very true, particularly because, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily really, like, own and enjoy your gamer tag, right? Like, you might want to swap it up, and if you're very new to the scene and this is your big first competitive game, sometimes you want to change that up. We see him trying to make a nice trap play and get enough room to pop that medkit just for a second.
I'm just going to say here, Sundown, I willingly chose the name Golden Boy. That was my bad. Right, I could have done something way cooler, but instead I didn't. I could have been like Commandant and just been cool and try and challenge that fight there. And he rushes on through. That's Unor, who goes down there and finds the other onto Faye. Oh my, that was just filthy. But he has to deal with all of the splodes that are just managed to just like connect to him like they were magnets. So all of that HP that he managed to benefit from, all gone now. All gone.
And he wasn't able to find Showtang, who was right next to him. And just It seemed like if he'd had a half a second later for Shotgun to actually settle, but CID from the high ground was able to pick him up there. Now you see NA, the reign of the ballers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that backside, 7 on the backside of the rotation, just out in the open, rolling their way into the top 12. Now they should have a decent amount of resources to work with as well, but official CT is going to find CID right there.
Sid owns you. Well, turns out CT owns you, my friend. At least for the time being now. Official CT continues to push on forward here. He's going to have himself just a green pump. Can we talk about his kit for a moment? Because it is bothering me. He's only got himself that gray heavy, the gray SMG, and a green pump, and yet he's managing to put it to work, Sundown. That's the thing. You can have yourself the legendary pumps. You can have yourself all the greatest weapons in the world, but if you're not nailing your shots, well, you're just not going to benefit from that there. And official CT, even though people continuously challenge him, he's still managing to hold his own in these fights.
Yeah, but he's out of build, so he needs to convert on something. You see him picking up the meth. He's still not opting to try and upgrade his weapons. Instead, just staying with what he has. I mean, there was plenty of time. He could have just pressed the use button on it, but no. Rock, and he said, oh, Rock, with this common pump, with all of these weapons, no problem there. Arda on the low ground, picking up Smokey and pushing himself into the top 7. Will they be able to convert on another one? There it is, CT going down as well.
I'm sure he would have liked to have been able to pick up. Oh my, it is just carnage. Carnage down low. Arda and Physical, everyone that just dropped down, they dropped down and immediately disappeared. It was like they got hit with the snap and they were gone. That was so impressive. But Physical is going to be out of this fight, so it's now going to come down to Arda. And then the ultimate high ground is going to be Aimkey and Parm, as they will force all these players here to have to respect the high ground that they own.
And Ranger picking up a great trap elim there. Fantastically well done to pick that one up. You see Mel's actually bouncing around it all the way out, so that's when the ballers betray you. Unfortunately now, you have Aimkey and Parm on high ground, Ranger on mid-tarp, Arda on ultimate low. Will Arda be able to make a play from the low ground and do something here, or will Aimkey and Parm be able to ride this high ground out and take the 2v1v1?
Arda has no time to be able to use that half pot. He does see that player that's going to be right next to him. If he can get the elimination, then he can get the 50 HP, and then it's basically like using that half pot there. That Ranger down low, but he's going to get hit with so much damage that now he's going to have to turtle and play this one smart. But just because he has to deal with players that are going to be above him as well, it just does not seem like it's going to be very likely for Arda here. And Parm and Aimkey, they had his number. Now it's going to be Arda still trying to just contend for this one. Arda did manage to get that one player, but it wasn't enough because Parm and Aimkey had the ultimate high ground and they never let it go.
No problem right there. Just stayed on top of it. We're executing out. Ranger tried to trap himself out or fake build out the side, but it doesn't matter. You're not faking anyone out, as they just simply have to hold on the high ground. Arda cleaning that one up for him, but he has nowhere to go. Has to try and edit his way up, and they're just waiting for it. Sitting there, waiting. Had the edit there down, no problem, as the player basically runs directly into the pump. He says, hi, nice to meet you. This is the back to lobby screen.
Yes, that was that. Man. Those are some games.
Those were definitely some games. We're getting in.
That was a thing we did.
Towards the tail end of it. It's now 6:40 p.m. Eastern, 3:40 p.m. Pacific, which means 20 more minutes left on those queues. Let's take a look at the standings and see where we're falling out. That means the players have time for maybe 1, possibly 2 more games, but you see there, Pika and Rue jumping up 78 points. Aspect and Animal still at 68, so probably waiting for another match to finish up, or might have had a little tough one. You have Angel XD20 sitting at 3rd with Krusty HD. FaZe, Funk Bomb, and Nate Hill jumping up to 4th, GV.
I said it earlier.
You did say it earlier.
We were talking about players that were on the up and up. I feel like Nate Hill, Funk is a phenomenal player, but I think Nate Hill is just, he's great in duos. He loves duos. It makes sense. Not bad. 4th place there. I'm sure that they want to keep going because that difference between the 4th and 2nd is not that far out.
No, it's really not that far. I also want to give a shout out to Lavish. I know you enjoy tagging a lot of people in your tweets. Well, people should be looking at you now, getting up there to 5th place. Mastoris and Perfect Hill in 6th. Bizzle and Demo, another pair we were talking about before, 7th. Byrevi and Not Panda, 8th. Gandhi, Dab Dab Dab, and Teza. And then Ghost Ryan and the Uzi, both at 55 points, rounding out the top 10. So this is a great stretch of leaderboard, a mix of players who we've seen through the cups and the gauntlet in super old established veterans as well, challenging towards the top. It's going to be a super interesting last about 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so.
You got to think about it like this, right? There is a new generation, I guess, of Fortnite players that the floodgates have opened. There's opportunity in front of them. The Luxe Cup, the Fortnite World Cup, all the other cups that have happened before this. Winter Royale, right? Winter Royale was probably the one event where we started to see all of these fresh faces, right?
Yep.
And I think that there are these players that have been putting in this work for such a long time. And now that they're starting to get these opportunities, we're starting to see them establish themselves as top players in the scene. And they're going to keep on going. We're seeing some also familiar faces, maybe not the biggest names like Rux and Pika, who are there. You know, I know who they are because I follow competitive Fortnite, but they're not like the biggest
they're not like
names.
completely
They're like
out
Bizzle
there.
and Demo, right?
Exactly.
Everyone knows who Bizzle and Demo is. But pretty soon we're going to be saying that Rux and Pika are like, you know, the faces of all this stuff.
If they're top 3 in 2 regions every single weekend, they have to be. But we're not done yet. Again, almost all the way through NA